I'm going to introduce my dear friend, Dr. Torri Love. We're also in co-authors in It's My Time. So that was really an exciting project. And Dr. Torri, I can't say enough about your passion for life and the work that you also do. So the Dr. Torri Love Griffin, LPC, the Love Doctor, is a licensed counselor, life coach, and author who helps people create joyful, meaningful relationships through her License Today program. She is the CEO of Love Living Life Today and inspires others to build connections that truly make sense. Her topic is mindfully living and loving your life. Dr. Tori, welcome to the Ascend virtual stage.
Well, thank you, Diane. Thank you, Olga. Thank you too for following the passion inside of you to give us this platform, this opportunity to come together. I was there. I remember when you guys started, and when you said, "This is just something God's given me to do." It was just a thought, but I think I'll do it. And now look at where we are just years and years later, and you've seen so many people come across the platform. Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you for the opportunity to come today to talk. And hi, everyone. It's so good to see all of your faces and your pictures. I'm so glad you came out today. This was a fabulous day to come because we get to talk about some real things that pertain to each and every one of us. So I'm talking today about the concept of mindfully living and loving your life. Mindfully living and loving the life that you were given to live. So this is about just you. There's some other people in the room, but right now it's really just you and me. Okay. We're here to talk me about how you're going to do this life that you've been given. Okay. So let's start by introducing myself. So I want to make sure that you know who's talking to you. I am a, let me get my clicker together here. All right. So let me first introduce myself and some of my story. There you see me walking and living in my power. I am a miracle of the universe, as are you. I'm a one of a kind superstar, as are you. But when I see myself as that, then I act that way. So do you. So some of our conversation today is going to be about aligning you with who you really truly are. Because sometimes we walk around in life under a label, under an assignment that someone gave us or assignment that we picked up. But that doesn't necessarily limit us to just that. We are so much more than labels assigned to us. Even if you have 150 labels, and some of us do, that is not all we are. There's so much more. So the book I'm speaking from today is It's My Time. Reclaim Your Dreams and Master Your Health, Wealth, and Freedom. And this is the book that we were in together, Diane Olga, myself, some of you, Sandra, Queenie, Chrislyn, I see you in there too. And today we're talking from my book, Fall Wildly in Love. Now, some people do fall wildly in love. Some people here have fallen wildly in love. Sometimes falling is dangerous. You can hurt yourself, but sometimes falling is freeing. So I'm inviting you to come inside this story and let's go together to being mindful about how we live our lives and how we love our lives. So in the next picture, you see some of my faves, my favorite people. You see my daughter there holding my first granddaughter. I am actually a grandmother, y'all. Did you know that? I'm a grandma. I didn't know I wanted to be a grandmother until the day came to me and I became one. I went, oh my goodness, now I understand how all of those other people who are grandparents who used to be professionals have just melted down to these big puddles of sugar when they hear the name of their grandchild. So that's me now. So you see my daughter holding my grandbaby, and that's a part of my legacy. That's not my limit. You do not have to only give your legacy to your children. Your legacy is here. Our legacy is the world. So when I look at the person to my on the other side of me, that's my mom. That's my Shiro. I dedicated the last 4 years of my life to her life. And come Christmas Eve, she transitioned into the other side, the great beyond. And the last part of her life, I can say I truly was able to give to her of my life, shared my actual life blood for those last 2 years while she was succumbing to the challenges of strokes and dementia and those sorts of things that really were a hard way for her to go. But kind of to the point that Coach Elman gave us. Forgiveness is very powerful, yes, but the words we speak are super powerful as well. Because I recall in my youth, my mother constantly telling me, when it's that time, don't put me in a home. And in my 20s, I didn't see why I should even hear that. Why are you saying that? That's not even necessary. You're not ever going to ever need that, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know, and she didn't know, that the day would come where the question became, should I do that? Should I make sure she's in a home, or should I make sure she's in my home? So lo and behold, she trained me from 20 years old to be prepared to make a life decision for her that I didn't think I would ever have to take on. But words are very powerful. So in this moment, I want to encourage everyone, please be mindful of the words that come out of your mouth. I don't mind if you're singing a song. I don't care if you're reading. I don't care if you're acting. Be very careful what words come out of your mouth. Those that you want to go on, send them on. But those you don't want, you need to pull them back and say, listen, I cancel all those words that were just spoken that were against me. Those were in character. Those do not apply to me because my life is going this way. This is just a temporary moment where I'm singing a song or where I'm reading something that really isn't me, even though it's written in first person. So I think those things are very key because at the end of her life, she was literally living in my home. And it was a challenge for me, I will admit. I will say, didn't expect that detour in my life, but it wasn't even a detour, y'all. That was a part of my calling. That was a part of my path. That was a part of who I am today. That's a part of the legacy I will leave. That experience is now mine. So those four people in that picture are very important to me. But I also have a son. He just wasn't there that day and didn't have a purple shirt on. But family matters to me so much more now than it did before. And it's really hard to explain that. But I think that grandmother switch turned on, and all of a sudden, all I want to do is look at that little girl. That's all I want to do. So, what you'll see also is the fact that I love writing. My little book of wisdom was my first self published book, and it was written and became the foundation and platform for what I get to do. The next thing you see is the License to Date relationship training programs, which was born out of the License to Date, which has been the foundation, which is born out of my little book of wisdom and has become the program that I use to help people make sure that they don't just use sense, they use common sense, and it removes nonsense. So their relationships make sense, which is again the foundation for some more of where Falling Wildly Love came from. What you'll notice in the bottom corner is a four-leaf clover. I learned long ago as just a child how to find them. For those who don't know, they exist. They're real. I can find a four-leaf clover in almost any clover patch. I've taught my son to do it. I'm teaching my grandbaby to do it. It's about being present and being in tune with the earth. There's a lot to that, but it's unique. And every one of us have a uniqueness that makes us who we are. We have to embrace some of those. Some of them look a little strange and weird. But if you've ever watched America's Got Talent, you've seen what can happen with the strange and weird. They can become absolutely famous simply because of their uniqueness. Your uniqueness matters. Please do not hide it. Do not ignore it. Do not underestimate it, I guess, because you matter in so many ways. What do you really want is one of the articles I wrote. I write for a women's magazine called Women of More. And that article of what you really want is a good question because sometimes we are not getting what we really want because some of us are afraid to really want it or to go after it or to persevere until we get it. We have got to be determined to live the life that God gave us to live so that we can accomplish the things that He put in our heart to do. Yeah, they're bigger than you. Yes, you are not able to do this on your own. Absolutely not expected to do it by yourself. But remember, there's a reason that you were given that. There's a reason that you were told that's for you to do. Because there are people that only you will reach. There are people that only you will ever get to speak to. That's a very important thing. So remember what you really, really want and go for it. Go all the way for it. Now, the last thing you'll see about me there is a group of people dancing. Well, for those of you who know me, you know I'm a ballroom dancer. I do Chicago South Stepping. I do line dancing. Like I'm a dance fanatic. So every chance I get, I'm on somebody's dance floor dancing somewhere, and I love it when I'm with a group because even though I'm there with the group dancing, I forget that there's anyone else there. What is it that you love to do that you would do so much that you would do it with others and still forget that there are people there because you are so lost in your zone? I encourage you to do that more often. I encourage you to find your zone, climb in it, and sit in there for just a little while. Because your zone is your space. That's kind of the space that I talked about in the book of how falling wildly in love is a very important part of life. Because when you fall wildly in love with your life, guess who else gets to see you doing you? Other people. And what could they? Okay, that's another topic. I'm sorry, I get distracted, Diane, talking about all of these things. But again, this is who I am in a capsule. This is how I am in a capsule. And all of these things have led to where we are today, which is talking about how you will mindfully live and mindfully love your life. So that's the question. Are you mindfully living and living your life? That's a question. I want you to think about the first one first. Are you mindfully living? Or are you breathing air in and out and waking up and going to work and then getting tired and going home, taking a nap, grab some food, get back in bed, and get up in the morning and routine, rut, rut, rut? I need to see some hands. Are you beyond just the rut? I'm looking at your faces. Okay, I see a couple. Okay, I don't see everybody. That's all right. I'm going to ask you again a little bit later. But the second question is, are you loving your life? And why do I have to ask you that? Some people do not love life. You can look around and probably think of at least two people that you've either seen on the television or on the internet or in your family or in your friendship group at work who really are not loving their lives the way life could be loved. And it's interesting because the people who are stuck in places where they can't get up and move, where they're in a hospital, where they're ill, where they can't breathe, where they can't walk, can't talk, love their lives enough to want their lives to be better, but they look at you and wish they were you. They look at you and wish they could be and do all that you can do. And here we are with all these faculties, capabilities, resources, time that we think we continue to have, we don't know, who will find reasons to not do everything we could do. And there are people who were just wishing they could have one day in our skin. One day, somebody really wants to be you. You might even know who they are. You might have even met a couple of them, but you are the you that you were given. So I'm going to challenge you today to do the work of mindfully living and loving your life. It sounds simple, but it's an actual job. It's just like the forgiveness work that Coach told us about. It's a job. It's something that you literally have to focus on and do because forgiveness doesn't just come to you. You literally have to speak it, know what you're forgiving, know the incident, release it, move on. You literally have to, it's an action verb. You have to literally do it. But living and loving your life is also an action verb because so many of us have this breath that comes in and out. We assume, oh, I'm going to have it in another 10 minutes. We're not sure about that. And that means we have life for another 10, 30 minutes. Well, we're not sure about that. So every moment really does count. Every moment really does require that we do it deliberately or think about it deliberately. So let's talk about mindfulness because I think that's a comment that I think that's a concept that is un un I think it's unclear for some people. So we're going to talk about what it is and what it isn't, because many people practice mindfulness now, and they are learning and living much better lives because they are. So here's the question: is your mind full, or are you mindful? You see in the little picture, the little person has his mind full of all the things that have to be done, where he's going to be in the next 10 minutes or the next 10 hours. What happened yesterday? What could happen in the future? There's so many things that your mind could be full of. Does that look familiar? Does anyone see themselves in their mind bubble doing any of that? I know I've been there. If not everyone, someone has had too much on their mind. Some people have so many of those things in their mind bubble that they can't sleep at night. They lay down, they close their eyes, and they see all of this. What's going to happen tomorrow? What happened last weekend? How's it going to impact me 2 years from now or 2 months from now? And what was that so and so said? I cannot believe they had the nerve to say that. Do you see how that can keep you from sleeping? And some people cannot empty their minds. They don't have any way to get that quiet. So mindfulness is actually a solution. And mindfulness, for those who have done it or who have not done it, it's just the ability to concentrate on this one thing, where we are right now. Some of us are able to be mindful because we have allowed ourselves this space and time to be together. That's a beautiful thing. Some of us are multitasking. Some people are doing 2 or 3 or maybe 4 things while they hear us talking, meaning they are able to what they consider multitasking, which actually is not accurate. Those of us who think that multitasking is good are under some misconception, because multitasking actually means we're only giving 10% of our time to the 10 things we're doing, and each one is only getting 10% of our effort. But imagine being 100% present right now. Imagine sitting right here, listening and participating in concentrating on what we're learning and getting right now. That's what the little thought bubble on the right is doing here. You see, when you're mindful, you're fully focused on what you're doing at the moment you're doing it. He is walking, there are trees and sun. If we are walking and see trees and sun, we're present, because each moment is very full. There's more than just the trees and the sun there. Isn't that little dog? You see a little dog? You see, isn't there more to the moment when you're just fully in it? When you're in it, it's like looking at a painting with 10 objects in the painting. What I'm to understand from one of the books I read is that imagine life as the painting, and whatever you're focused on in the picture, let's say there's a flower in the picture, the flower becomes the entire photo. And when you expand a photo or of a flower, you might find there's a ladybug inside the flower. And when you focus on that portion of the photo, imagine that expanding so all you see is the ladybug. And then when you see the ladybug, you can see details like the spots on the back of the ladybug. Then imagine looking there and seeing that expand. Every time we turn our attention to something, it gets bigger and becomes much larger. And it also pushes out the things that we're not looking at the moment. So that's an action. We would literally have to do that in order for that to happen for us. So I want us to practice a little bit of mindfulness, because mindfulness is a skill. It's something that you already do in some ways, but there are some times that you need to add it to what you're doing. Because when you're stressed, anxious, upset, hurt, scared, mad, angry, any of those, what's happening is you're increasing your breath, you're increasing your heart rate, and it's because your feelings and emotions are taking you someplace. And sometimes you don't want to go where they'll take you. You've seen people who get out of hand, they follow their emotions, they end up in a traffic jam, and all of a sudden they've got road rage. Now all of a sudden they're chasing a car down that they don't really want to chase down, and they're ending up in situations they don't want to be in, and their heart rate is out of control. We need to gather ourselves, get our heart rate under control by controlling our breath. So I want everyone to be prepared to do this activity with me. We're going to get grounded, but we're going to take a couple deep breaths first. And we're going to use the hand symbol. So we're going to breathe in and out. Are you ready? Let me start again. Everybody, breathe in and out. One more time, in and out. Follow up one more time, in and out. Again, in and out. Last time, in and out. Now, using your 5 senses, we're going to get grounded in the rooms that we're in. And I want you to think about or name or say out loud 5 things that you can see around your surroundings. I see a wall. I see a door. I see a flower. I see a book. I see a phone. Make sure you're saying it out loud. Are you telling us what you see? Now we're going to go to 4 things you can feel, literally feel right now. Name them out loud, even though we can't all hear you. I can feel the chair I'm sitting on. I feel the necklace around my neck. I feel the ring on my finger. I feel the sleeve on my arm. Okay? Now we're going to do 3 things you can hear. And this one takes patience because sometimes the sounds are far away. Because I hear my voice. I hear the car going by. I hear the hum of the air conditioner. We could go on. But let's go to the last parts of being grounded. What are 2 things you can smell? I smell my lotion. It smells good. I smell the juice in the cup. And what is the last one? One thing you can taste. Now, of course, that could be something you just had to eat. Could be toothpaste. Could be something else. But for this few minutes that we got grounded, did you notice that we were focused on right here, right now? Did you notice that we were not thinking about tomorrow or what could happen tomorrow or what didn't happen yesterday or what should have happened? And we need a couple of moments in our lives to really center ourselves and be present and be right here and be right now because the stress and the anxiety that have been overtaking people have been coming with a vengeance. And it's the fear of what's going to happen. It's the fear of what's going to happen as a result of what someone else did. It's the anxiety over how that's going to impact me and my family. What am I going to do now? What's going to happen next? How will I get through this? There are so many questions that are being raised that it's important for us to really be able to shift. You've heard of code switching. Sometimes you're in a certain setting, you speak in a certain way more professionally than your kids or your baby, and you talk gooey, gooey, talky. Yet, there are times you need to be able to shift your mindset from one side to the other side so that you can maintain your control over your being. So I would like to encourage you to add grounding to your activities each day, especially if you find yourself getting too far out, too far away from where you are at the moment or who you feel like you're supposed to be. Because when you ground yourself, you can focus on what exactly is next for real, not in the, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? What did they say? What are they going to do? Why do I? We don't really need to be spending as much time on things that are not significant to us. Because what's significant is the life you were given. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about why and how you're living the life you were given. Because sometimes people will check out and not live it. It's like the dash we talked about in your life. Some people will start, have the dash, but do nothing with their dash. And you never know how long your dash is. So when you know that your life is the dash, the part that you were given to be on this time, this in this space time continuum on the earth is important, then you can concentrate on making sure that every point in your dash is significant. And again, leaves that legacy we've talked about. So inside of this particular book, I hope you have your copy handy. We're going to turn to page 36 and we're going to talk about principle number 1 in the principles of living your life and the principles of loving your life. Okay, everybody grab your book. What? You don't have a copy? Oh, that's remedy. We have Amazon.com. If you just check out Dr. Torri Love, you can make sure you get your very own copy. I love this book. It's really cool because I put some things in it that people need to know. And we're going to talk about the first principle of living life. You have one life. That one life intersects with other lives, but it is primarily your own. It is your responsibility to manage and maintain your life and create the atmosphere that will lead to a fulfilling experience. I'm not suggesting that there is only one life to live. There are people who will tell you they've lived many times before. But at the moment, this is the life you're on. Okay. And while you're living it, You do know that there are people you will interact with and that life intersects with, but you have a responsibility yourself to make sure that that life is doing what you need it to do. You have to create the atmosphere that's enjoyable. You have to create the fulfilling experience. You have to be the one who's dedicated to making it be what it should be. So yes, there are people who will impact you, but they're not the ones controlling what you do with it. It's yours. It's all yours. So with that principle in mind, let's talk about your life. Let's talk about how you talk to yourself about your life. Because when you know what your purpose is, what's my purpose? I've never known my purpose. How do I find out my purpose? Am I old enough to know my purpose? Am I young enough to know my purpose? Yes, you are. All of us have a purpose. Is my opinion. This is again my belief about purposes. I believe that you were created because there's an answer to a question, and that answer is you. You are the one who will speak the answer. You are the one who will be the answer to someone's question in their life. And many times you walk into a room and someone goes, I was just thinking about you. I need you to so and so. I need you to tell me such and such. I need help. You're an answer. And I believe that your purpose can be found. There's a really cool video, a really nice TED talk, where they ask you just a few questions and you're able, I should send that to you guys. And the basic question is, who do you feel a need to touch? How do you want to touch that group? How do you believe you can change that group's experience? And how do you want to do it? And when you can say, I'm on the earth to enhance the lives of those around me through the lessons that I've learned, for instance, this is how I would say it, through the lessons that I've learned for the betterment of those that I come in contact with, whether that's on radio, television, in person, internet, any kind of way. My hope, my goal, my purpose is to enhance the lives of those around me with the lessons I've been given. It's not that deep, but it is a daily task for me. So, what is your purpose? Even if it's just one word, what do you know that you do for and with others that makes a difference? And it is really that simple. There's a gift that I don't have that I know people who do have, and they don't think it's significant. Typically, it's one of those things you do naturally that you don't think is so big a deal. And other people are like, oh my God, how do you do that? You make such beautiful things. The gift of card writing. You got a card writer in your life? Do you know someone who does that? That's a gift. To literally write a card with a person's name on it, with a message, sign your name, find an envelope, lick a stamp, put it in the mail, and let it show up at their house, and they open it and receive all of the love you poured into it? What? Are you kidding me? That is an amazing gift. That is an amazing, amazing, amazing gift. And it's not even considered a big deal. But I promise you, when you are a love giver through the art or the artistry of card writing, whether it's a thank you card or a get well card or a congratulations card, that is a part of your purpose. So again, know yourself. Know thyself is one of the great phrases. I believe Confucius said that. Know thyself. Because when you know how important your purpose is, you will not neglect it. You will make sure that every day, every single day, you do some of that purpose. If you're a card writer and you write a card a day, do you know how many people you will change and influence? Do you have any idea what kind of a love bomb experience it is for someone to receive that from you? Even if you do it through the internet, now they have new fancy ways. My point is, do not underestimate your gift. Do not underestimate your talent. Do not underestimate your responsibility to be a light in the lives of those in the world. Some you know, some you don't even have to know. But your self image determines how well you do your gift. If you don't think it's important, you'll just sit it out and say, no, nah, I don't need to do that. They don't really need to hear from me. You will hear the name of someone go through your mind. And if you understand the value of you applying what you know, you will pick up the phone or you will either call them, text them, write them, or somehow reach out to them because they need to hear from you. But if your self image says, I don't matter, the things that I do are not important, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't need to. It's not that big a deal if I make the pound cake for Mary Sue. She doesn't really need it. Yes, she does. She needs your gift at work. Please use your gift to support Mary Sue and all the other people you're sent to. But if you don't have a good self-image, you're going to talk yourself out of it. You've heard of self-talk. Many of you have self-talk. Everybody has self-talk. But our self-talk needs to be motivational. We need to know how to talk to ourselves, to motivate ourselves to do the things that we're supposed to be doing. Because if your self-talk says, eh, that's okay, then you're not telling yourself, with your affirmations, I'm an amazing, one of a kind miracle of the universe. Everything I do is important and significant, and I do everything I do at the right time in the right way. And I'm always in the right place at the right time. Everything always works out for me. I am one of the most powerful people that I know. Everything I need comes to me when I need it. I am amazing, and I have a right to do the things that I have been given to do because it is fun and easy for me to know exactly what to do and say at the right time in the right way, and for me to do it on a daily basis. Your affirmations matter. So I'm going to encourage you as we talk through this to think about what your purpose is. I'm going to ask you to write that down somewhere and tell someone what it is. I'm going to ask you to consider how your self-image is shaping up. Is your self-image good? Is your self-image not good? I need you to have a good self-image. I need you to think about your self-talk and make sure that you are talking to yourself in positive ways. That's why we mentioned the affirmations. But I'm also going to ask you to do a personal review at night. At the end of every day, let's see what you did. Let's see how you did. Let's see what you learned. Let's see if you accomplished what today's purpose was. Because you have this one life to manage. To make it fulfilling, you have to do certain things. And if you mind your day, MINE, mind your day, and look down throughout the day to see what exactly was you did or didn't do or need to do next time you have an opportunity, you'll have a much better tomorrow because you're able to see exactly how you did it. But when you're at the end of the day and you're doing your personal review, ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today? Ask yourself, how did I use my gift today? Ask yourself, who did I reach out to? Some of you are intercessory prayers and you pray for people. Ask yourself, how many people did I name that I can be praying for today? And you can even log your miracles. That's what we do on the 30-day miracle challenge. How many miracles arrived today? How did I walk in favor? How did I practice love? Who did I forgive? If you sit at the end of your day and you mind and pull out of it and put into place those things that you did, you'll be amazed at how easy it can become to sleep for those who are not sleeping very well. Consider this. Because when you pull everything out and put it in place and know exactly where it is and how it is, you can amazingly find yourself empty at the end of the day. And you definitely want to be empty at the end of the day, just like you do at the end of your life. You don't want to take any of your gifts and talents and ideas to the grave. That's your dash. You have a responsibility to use your dash. So, did you hear me? I talk about self-care because your self is very important. And I learned this lesson one of the harder ways. Even though I talk about self-care, it's another action verb. You literally have to do it. You have to literally take care of yourself. When we care for ourselves as our very own beloved, with naps, healthy food, clean sheets, a lovely cup of tea, we can begin to give in wildly generous ways to the world from our abundance. Our abundance comes from feeding ourselves so that we have something to give. You have to be willing to take care of the you that you were given because God gave it to you to take care of. If it's always tired, sleepy, angry, mad, it's because someone needs to take care of it. And I'm going to give you that assignment. And I'm going to give you 8 assignments, as a matter of fact, because self-care is bigger. Oh, oh, do I not have this? Yes. Yes, we're going to do this slide after this. I want to talk about this one because how are you self-caring? How you are self-care, how you are caring for yourself has to do with how you're loving yourself. And this is principle 5 in how you can love living your life. Principle 5, same book, different page. I love my life. Actually, I'd like you to read this with me. You don't have to open your mic if you don't like to, but I would like you to read this out loud because I want you to hear this beyond just my voice. Ready, read. I love my life when the facets of my life are aligned on the continuum that is central to my core being. My physical, interpersonal, financial, and psychological expressions of myself are driven by a common theme. Congruence in these themes. Oh, can't read that part. Congruence in these themes creates intrapersonal harmony, and I'm content. You have to stay in tune with yourself because when your physical and your emotional and spiritual and all of your selves are aligned, then you are able to love the life you are living. And that's why I wanted to bring to your attention why you have to honor these particular 8 dimensions of wellness in your life. You've seen this wheel. These are the 8 dimensions of wellness. They require you to pay attention to yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially, financially, environmentally, intellectually, occupationally, and all the other ways that we mentioned. Why do I bring this to your attention? Because some of these areas in your life need attention from you. Some people are running and running and running themselves into the ground. Not that it's ever been you, but if it is you, it's time for you to pay attention and be sure that you are bringing yourself in each of these areas up to as close to 100% attention as you can, because these are the ways that you can manage and maintain and love and live your life. So I want you to put this into practice for 5 days. This is the challenge, and I'm bringing this home. The challenge, I'm challenging you based on the fact that it's your time too, not just mine. It's your time. The challenge is I want you once a day for these next 5 days to get yourself grounded. At any moment in the morning, or if you find yourself feeling frazzled, get grounded. Or right before you go to bed, get grounded. And I want you to say out loud 5 of your favorite things to do. That's the other task. Not only do I want you to say your 5 favorite things because that brings them to your mind, I want you to consider doing one of them. Some of them require people, some of them require money, but I just need you to say what your 5 favorite things are to do. And I promise you, when I'm working with clients, I ask them to do this. Some people can't even get past 3. You need to know what your top 20 favorite things to do are. That's also in the book. I have a whole worksheet assignment, this workshop in a book. But I want you to do something that you probably didn't get to do today. I want you to meet someone new. I want you to literally talk to someone you haven't met, maybe in the grocery store, at the Starbucks, and tell them your name. Tell them a little bit, get connected. And then I want you to do something new that you've never done before. Because when's the last time you did something for the very first time? I need you to do that. And how will I know you've done it? How will I believe you? I want you to post it. I want you to tell the whole world, or I want you to text somebody. I want you to definitely, if you use the internet, post it on your Facebook page, Instagram, something. Anything you do. And then I want you to tag Dr.
Later, please. I'm in a webinar.
I want you to
and
tag.
I'm testing yes.
I want you to tag Dr. Torri Love. And I want to see some of these things change for you in the next 5 days. And I don't mean put it off for 5 days. I mean start today. Today's day 1, and do some of these things. I want to see something change because I want you to love and live your life. So it's been a pleasure. I want to thank Diane, Olga. I want to thank everyone for coming. Because let's stay in touch. If you email me, I will send you a list of the 10 most powerful affirmations that you can hang on the wall and just read every day and help improve and boost your personal mindset and your life. Thank you all.